So is it pizza time? You better bet your ass that it is pizza time. Oh shoot. This is not even the exact store that I remembered before, because it was in Monterey Park and then it was somewhere else and it went to San Dimas. So the image I have is not even the up-to-date one. This is Michelangelo's Pizza without the guy on the guy with the beret. I'll show you what I'm talking about, but this is Michelangelo's Pizza 2026. Here's a little bit of the interior, and it is much larger than the 92 restaurant I'm about to describe to you. Where would we be? What kind of video would this be if I didn't at least try the damn pizza? Right? So we gotta try it. Let's see. This. I don't remember having. I usually had pepperoni sliced pizzas from Michelangelo's. So this is the meat. This is the meat lover special. Should say 48, but that's okay. I can get my 40 years of life back. Now it's a moment of truth. It's a little different than the way I remembered it. It's a little bit different. I can taste that tomato sauce a bit, but I remember the tomato sauce was a bit chunky. They had a very good recipe for the tomato sauce. That was the kind of the key. I'm not sure if it's exactly the way I remembered it, but it's not bad. I think it was a little different. Maybe I'm just remembering it differently. I have to go back 34 years to remember. Yeah, there was a tanginess, a sweet tanginess, salty tanginess to the tomato sauce. And so we come to the narrative portion of my video. My birthday passed on Sunday. It's also the same as Clint's birthday. That's right. Clint Eastwood and I have the same damn birthday. Isn't that something? And he's not playing around either. But I think he's mostly retired. He doesn't want to do this anymore. Get him, Clint. Get him. Now, what I'm about to show you is something that was important to me. Now, we saw the restaurant, the new restaurant, right? But we're going to go back in time a little bit. Now, what this is, if you can see it, can we see that? Can I sharpen that? Can you see anything? Thank you. Like, things I ask. How much do I ask? This much. How much do I get? That's how much I get in return. So this is the layout. This is not a perfect. It's not a perfect scale. This is not a drafting class. But what you're looking at is a crude drawing, a hand drawing of Michelangelo's Pizza that allegedly started in 1985 in Monterey Park and ended in 1992. As very sad. So what I'm going to do right now, because this was important to me, okay? Now, before I show you through the magic of AI, okay? AI and a little Photoshop and real art here. This is the real art. My mom would take me here in 1988, 1989. And the arcades I'm about to show you were relatively new. Now, I could play them on my Nintendo Switch or Steam Deck. But back then, 1988, 1992, those were different years, different times. Michelangelo's Pizza was located on 2099 Atlantic Boulevard in Monterey Park, California. And a lot of things happened, but for right now, let's start off with the north entrance and exit. And here is the entrance. So this is Michelangelo's Pizza. Now this is AI sign, but as you can see that the building is real, but the sign is fake. But this is how it looked way back then. Way back when. So you go inside, okay? You go into this entrance. And inside, you're going to see a little hallway, little walkway. It's a little like more of a corridor than it is like a wide space. So you come in, you open that silver door, you're walking into the business. Welcome to Michelangelo's. How may we help you, right? So it's a nice little area. You make a little left because there's nothing on the right. So you make a sharp left. At least I don't think so. Now keep in mind, this is as best as my memory can be without things hung up on walls. So I don't remember anything framed or potted plants or anything like that. No, not that hardcore a detail, but just the major landmarks of the interior of the store. And so you're making a left, you're walking down this little pathway. It's about 25 feet, okay? 25 feet, and then you're gonna walk up to something, okay? You're not gonna look to your right yet. You're gonna look straight ahead. You're not gonna look to your right. And what do your eyes see? What is it that you see in front of you? Back against the wall is the Addams Family pinball table. So I don't remember much. I didn't play very much of the Addams Family pinball, but it was a fun time. I mean, this is like one of the most grandest arcade experiences you could ever have. I mean, people loved this. People loved it all the time. You know, this was like, I do have it on digital. Every single one of these games that I'm showing you, I have it on Nintendo Switch. But this is they have like, look at this is so cool to see that mechanical hand. This is what Michelangelo's had. So because of this pinball table, I could remember the last year it was there, and then it was gone. So I thought it was 1991, but it was actually 1992, the last year that Michelangelo's was there. Now, if you go around the corner, you're going to see a familiar arcade cabinet. And obviously, I think it was actually pointed westward. It was not pointed this way. It was not pointing north. It was pointing west. So you have to move the machine 90 degrees to its left, to your right when you're moving it. How much time? It was because of Michelangelo's that I knew that the Ninja Turtles arcade even existed. I never knew about an arcade game from the Ninja Turtles until I went to Michelangelo's Pizza in 1989, 1990. And how good was I at this game? I will say that I got as far as the second level with Bebop, but never any further. I didn't really know how to master jump flying kicks and all that shit. But I played a little bit, and I remember I played the NES version later on, and my mom would look at me disappointed, like smiling like a shit-eating grin. And she's like, oh, it's not the same as the arcade. I'm like, I was fine with it. I didn't hate it. I still don't. I mean, it's the fucking NES 8-bit system with like 52 colors, and it had limitations. Of course, it was not going to be that great. I still played it. I remember playing a bit, putting it on pause, going to Love's restaurants for ribs. Love's is a whole different thing, just like Pioneer Chicken. But let's focus on pizza, right? So I want you to now that we've seen the Ninja Turtles around the corner of this wall, we've seen the Addams Family, and now I want you to go ahead and look to your right. Pizza Kitchen and Bar. Now, this is a tricky one. I have vague memories, but I remember it was some sort of octagonal bar and counter. Now, these are AI images. What you've been seeing all this time are AI images as far as the detail and the renderings here. But I have to go back in my mind. I have to go back 34 years plus and remember that kitchen. Remember that bar counter with the beer tap. So the kitchen was a big, wide kitchen, and you had the beer taps. Obviously, I think they were closer to the beer taps would be where I'm pointing right now. They would be like closer to here, not over there. But AI be AI. It's not gonna do what you want, but it is close to what I think it was. So the whole point is that you're sitting down. You're gonna get a beer. You're gonna get a pizza. Just sit around it's like a bartender. You just sit around and talk like you're at the bar. Now that kind of thing is not there at the new location. You don't have a bar. You do have beer and you do have pizza, and you can watch games, obviously on TVs. We'll get to that in a moment. But you're just sitting around, fucking around with the just taking in the atmosphere of the kitchen, because you can see everything that's going on. You know, the AI kindly gave me a more top-down view, and a little bit more. Now, please turn your attention back to the Ninja Turtles arcade. And we got Neo Geo Now, this is where my memory is a little hazy because I'm not sure if it was facing north or facing west. I don't remember. I know what kind of Neo Geo machine it was, as I will show you right now. This is a dual game machine arcade upright cabinet. Okay, upright model. Yep, the Neo Geo music, and especially you had this King of the Monsters. This is how I knew it was because of Michelangelo's that I learned about the Addams Family Pinball Arcade, the pinball table, the Ninja Turtles arcade, King of the Monsters, and also, yep, real. Boom. Dynamic. Baseball stars, professional. That's how I learned about this game. I learned about Neo Geo, Baseball Stars, and King of the Monsters from Michelangelo's Pizza. That's how I learned about. I learned a lot from Michelangelo's Pizza. And before going back in time, I do recall. I think it was maybe a street. The original Streets of Rage arcade was there before Ninja Turtles, and before the Neo Geo machine, I think it was Junior Pac-Man. That's how far back we're going. Okay, so now let's go past these arcades. We got WC, which stands for bathroom in Japanese, and we got some tables and chairs. Now, this is kind of like a dramatization. I do think there was a light, one overhead light, but the bathrooms are pretty like in a dark place. Between right next to the bar, the edge of the kitchen and bar counter is the bathrooms. Men and ladies, lords and ladies, gents and ladies, lads and lasses. So it's nothing fancy. It was just basically that's it. The two bathrooms, okay, and maybe you had a maximum of four like little seats, like red leather seats on. It's like it kind of reminds me of the Pioneer Chicken little seats where you sit by a table, and so maybe about four of these. Like you had like little chairs and tables that were fixed to the floor. So you would sit down and have a pizza, and there'd be napkins and all that. So you see a couple of these, right? Now we're going to leave that area as we get to the final section. Can I have cooperation here? As we get to the final section of this, we're now entering this section. Now, what is this area here? These are the booths and tables, okay? So this is more AI, of course. Who would arrange a booth without a table? That looks a little weird, but this is, and you see these weird mirror tiles on the walls. This is a real photograph of a real tiles, but this is what they used to use back in the 80s and 90s. These mirror tiles, these yellow cracks on them. Here's an alternative look. You can kind of see the mirror tiles, but I think they would only cover up so much. Like they would only cover one half, and then you would have wood paneling at the bottom, right? This wood panels on the sort of they go up to the waist of people, and you would have these red leather these boots here. I think these are a little more accurate to what I remembered, what I could recall. Now, before we leave, a couple of things. One more thing before we get to that south entrance exit. Between the two rows of red leather booths with the tables, with the mirror tiles on the walls, on opposite walls, on the left and right walls, in between the two rows of red booths, you're going to look up and you're going to see a red, green, and blue projector. That was like the only way you could watch sports back in 1985 to 1992 at Michelangelo's. And if you were to study that, you look. I think they might have had like a pull down sheet, right? Not a wall. Some people have walls. Some people have to have pull down sheets. But you would look at that wall or the sheet, and you would see the game of the day. In the case of what I could see, I would see a football game on, and you would watch the football game, whatever it was, the Super Bowl or whoever was playing. New York Giants was playing against the Denver Broncos, I guess. I don't know. It doesn't matter. And then, finally, you walk a little to your left of the projection of the football game, and now you are leaving Michelangelo's Pizza. Thanks for stopping by. Now, these are the real pictures. These are real photographs of what it is now. Kids Mart Uniforms Depot. Half the fucking shopping mall in the sort of the sort of the Atlantic. It's sort of the Monterey Park Mall, shopping mall there, and it's across the street from East Los Angeles College, right? This is what you could look forward to, getting fucking uniforms. They look like they barricaded everything. I've been in this place a couple of times after Michelangelo's left. Nothing, and I mean fucking nothing, ever replaced Michelangelo's pizza with staying power, okay? Now, there are a couple of factors. One being that Shakey's Pizza was about a block away. It was about less than 100 feet away. 100 feet, I would say, north of where Michelangelo's was. So north of this, what is this? Hats, apron, the embroidery. So you can make your own uniforms. You can make the baseball uniforms for the Little League kids that go to Michelangelo's in San Dimas. But yeah, I mean, you can make uniforms, but it could have been Shakey's. But I think because back in the 80s, there weren't as many Asians in Monterey Park. There were more whites, blacks, actually more whites and more Mexicans that there were in Monterey Park before it became Asian. And here was the second place number 2, which I have to say looks nicer than the one I went to, but it's still in the same area. It just moved to another place. Like it moved like I don't know, 50 feet to the next store. So there's a little mall area, and I took the bus and I took the train all the way to San Dimas. I think where Raging Waters might still be, unless it's not there anymore. Is Raging Waters still there? I think Raging Waters is still there. Now, up to the top left is the mascot. That is Michelangelo, the mascot. If you can kind of see it. If you can't, I'll help you out. Here is the original coin. I do believe this is the bathroom token. The only real remnant, the only real thing that is left over of Monterey Park's Michelangelo's Pizza. It might have been founded in 1985. 285-110-213. So yeah, this is the original Monterey Park place that's no longer there. Here's the mascot with a little bit of color. Here he is with a slightly different style. And oddly enough, I think somebody either stole the art for Michelangelo or it's the same artist. But I recognize the turban guy, the Alibaba, right? My dad once we passed by this place in 1998, 1999. And my dad said, oh, well, they were starting to build this place, okay? This was on Whittier Boulevard in Los Angeles or Commerce. And he said, like, who's going to eat Arabian food in East Los Angeles? But it wasn't. It was like a Chuck E. Cheese. Like, you had arcades all the time. You had tickets. You get stuff. So it's more of a Chuck E. Cheese without the mascot, without the animatronics. And it focused on, like, you had Star Wars arcade. But it had this. But the Michelangelo's mascot was turned into a turban guy. Like, hello, welcome to Alibaba. You know, all that. Slight apologies to the Indian community, but, you know, we live in sensitive times. So what's to learn from this? I think because of Michelangelo's Pizza, it was my first real personal pizza place. It was a place that was not, it was not Shakey's. It was not Round Table. There were places like Round Table and Straw Hat Pizza and Pizza Hut. Now Pizza Hut's coming back with the 80s style. What is it? What is it? That stained glass lamps and big restaurant, big place. People have been on YouTube and sharing old Pizza Hut restaurants, but fuck Pizza Hut. The pizza tastes like salty, garlicky sponge ass. Okay, I hate Pizza Hut. Will not go to Domino's again. After this, I mean, I was so happy. Let me tell you how fucking happy I was to go back to something. You know, as men, we have true force loneliness. We have problems with women. We have problems with jobs, keeping our jobs, keeping our sanity, going to a therapist, a shrink, you know, having our cigarette, our coke addictions, our alcohol, all kinds of problems, okay? We go so far being adults. And we say to ourselves, remember that thing we used to go to? Remember that place we used to go to? Remember that girl that moved away? And Michelangelo's was that girl who moved away. She was that pretty girl next door who had to move away because her family got a new job. They had to go to another state. And you always wonder what happened to her. And for me, I mean, I recognized a couple of people. When I returned there, I recognized a couple. I didn't bother anybody. We didn't talk. They were kind of busy. I didn't want to talk to them. I'm going to tell you right now that Michelangelo's Pizza in San Dimas, I've seen the Yelp reviews. I would suggest you do not call ahead. There's no Grubhub. There's no Uber Eats. Obviously, they deliver themselves. They'll deliver 5 miles away, so you will not get a delivery from them at all. At all. Okay. If you're like me, you have to go over there. You have to physically go down there. Okay. And if you drive, I would say be there an hour. So let's say you get there by 3. You want to leave the house by 1:30, just to be sure. Okay. Even if it's a 45-minute, 46-minute drive, get there. If you're going to eat there at 3 o'clock, leave the house at 1:30 because you just don't know. You don't fucking know. And yeah, I recognize so many things. I mean, things have changed. Obviously, the arcades are much different. I saw the Little League play Ninja Turtles. I mean, I think it's 2015, 2016 Ninja Turtles, the Nickelodeon one. And they had Cray Machines and Cruisin' World. They didn't have too many video games, but what they did have was kind of cool. And so I didn't want to get too close to all that, parents and kids and all that. So I sat there. They had reservations for tables. So they're still busy. They still keep busy after at least 41 years, they're still around. And it made me happy. It meant more to me than any material thing. I mean, yes, I'm gonna see Masters of the Universe Wednesday night. I ask you to hold your breath for my review. But other than Masters of the Universe, being a kid at 10 years old, my other interests were like what? Garfield the Cat comic strips and Saturday morning cartoons and Nintendo Entertainment System. I had a rough childhood. My father made it a rough childhood. So coming here to this place, the things that I showed you, the AI and some of the couple of real photos, that's what I could remember. After Michelangelo's left in '92, they tried to make it I think it was like a sushi eating place, like a little Japanese food eating place. Didn't last long. They tried to make it like a little Tokyo Japanese collector's store. Didn't catch on. Nothing has caught on. You've got half of that mall, that little strip mall that you go inside across the street from Wells Fargo. You got nail salons, fucking nail salons, and other things. Mr. Wong will not make your pizza. Mr. Wong will make it wrong. So it is a shame. So, I mean, the place is San Dimas, the little shopping area, is very quiet, very nice. And I'm probably going to be going every month. Once a month, because it's too far to go all the time. But I'm kind of a little bummed out, too, because Pioneer Chicken, speaking of retro, they forgot my biscuit. Check your bags and make sure they don't cheat you with your money. Because if you're buying a full meal, you don't want to lose anything. They should not be forgetting things like burgers or your fries. Don't do that, right? And I got to take home the pizza, and I'm gonna have the last slices of pizza. I got Meat Lovers pizza, so it was it medium? Yeah. So that's it. This is Maestro Drake. Turned 48. Year of the horse. The year of the horse, baby. Even though it's it has to do with China and all that. Yeah, I hope you find your lost childhood. Let me know what part of your lost childhood that you found. And talk to you soon. Look at it. You know that I wasn't gonna come here without playing Ninja Turtles arcade. Look at this. I gotta run from this guy. Splinter's in trouble. This is it. They're playing the new one over there, but I'm playing the old one. That's how old school I am. I found Mikey. I found him.